Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Galbinsky, and I'm the Dean at the Oakland School's Technical Campus Northeast. And we want to welcome each and every one of you, parents and students, to our Northeast Campus virtual information night. So we want to thank you for joining us and spending some time here with us this evening. We've got a lot of information to cover. We've got several of our own staff members that have joined us. They'll be available through Q&A. We have Dr. John Landry, academic instructor. We have Miss Mallory, Miss Rachel, two of our student support specialists with us. We have Miss Clark, one of our student support specialists, instructional technicians. And we also have Miss Tomshak, who is one of our cosmetology instructors. And I want to also then introduce Mr. Maddock. Mr. Randy Maddock is our counselor. And so Randy and I are going to tag team this presentation. We hope that it'll be very informative for you. We do have some Q&A time built in and lots and lots of information. So our information's there. It'll come up later in the presentation as well. So again, we want to welcome you. So what's career and technical education? Well, it's when you combine your strong academic skills and knowledge with your technical skills. And when you have that combination, that is what gives students a competitive advantage for their future. We are an extension of your high school. We prepare you for high demand, high skill, and high wage careers. I'm so glad Doc Landry is with us tonight. He's our mathematics instructor and academic support. And so we have a little mathematic equation here. So what's the winning equation? It's where we take the academics from your respective high school, we add them to the CTE skills, your technical skills that you would learn at the campus, and that equals a competitive advantage for you. So Doc, this slide was just for you. So we appreciate you being with us and wanted to share that with our parents. So a lot of people wonder, well, what can you do after high school? What are post-secondary pathways, in particular for students that graduate from OSTC? We have students that go right into a four-year university. We have students that go into a two-year community college. We have students that'll go into a technical or trade school. We have students that'll go into apprenticeship programs. We have some that'll enter directly with the credentials they earned while at the campus and skills they've gained, gone directly into the workforce. Some may continue to learn some other post-secondary learning through earning additional credentials or skills. And we have some students then look at the military as an opportunity for post-secondary pathways. So all of those are available for coming to the campus. One of the things I always like to say is when you come to the campus, it's a force multiplier of opportunities. And you can see from a post-secondary standpoint, all of the opportunities that are available to each and every one of you that you have the ability to move on after you graduate from high school and from the technical campus. I'd like to just share with you here from Kettering University, one of the options that we have. Kristen is Assistant Director of Admissions there at Kettering University, and she talks a little bit about what amazing opportunities students have to gain further knowledge of their high school education. That is something that we offer. And Kettering, as an admissions director, looks very favorably on taking classes such as engineering, mechatronics, robotics, anything along those lines. And it absolutely puts an incoming student at an advantage as they come and move into Kettering. That's that competitive advantage I talked about. We know that math plays a huge role at Kettering education. They look heavily on this during the admissions process, and students also need a good basis in science and biology, chemistry and physics. So if they have a strong basis in those areas, taking a class credits at OSTC is an amazing addition. So that's just one of the admissions directors, Kettering University, where our students have the ability to go, and it really ties into that post-secondary opportunity once you leave campus. I'm going to throw this now over to Mr. Maddock.
All right, good evening, everyone. So Oakland County has 4 of these technical campuses. We're all housed out of the Northeast campus. We're biased. We think that the Northeast campus is the best. We're located in Pontiac, and students from the Avondale District, Lake Orion, Oxford, Pontiac, and Rochester primarily make up the student body at the Northeast campus. But then we have a Northwest campus up in Clarkston. Clarkston does have a couple of programs that we do not offer at the Northeast campus. So there are some students that will travel up I-75 to the Northwest campus. We also have two southern campuses. The Southeast campus is located in Royal Oak, and the Southwest campus over in Wixom. So hopefully all of you that are tuned in this evening are from one of our local school districts, and we would be your home campus at the Northeast campus in Pontiac. At the Pontiac campus, at the Northeast campus, we have 12 different CTE programs that do prepare students for careers that are in high demand, require high skill, and have that higher paying wage. So if you look down these 12 programs, starting with Automotive Technology in the upper left-hand corner, Collision Repair and Refinishing, Computer Programming, Construction Technology, Cosmetology, Culinary Arts and Hospitality, Cybersecurity Networking, Engineering, Robotics and Mechatronics, Entrepreneurship and Advanced Marketing, Health Sciences, Machining, and Welding. Those are the 12 programs that we offer at the Northeast campus, and those are the 12 programs that we're going to highlight tonight to give you a little bit more information to help make a good decision for your student. Now, out of these 12 programs, 8 of those also offer an early college option. The Oakland Technical Early College Program is something above and beyond the traditional technical campus schedule. But out of those 12 programs that we just went through, these 8 have an early college option. Automotive Technology, Collision Repair and Refinishing, Computer Programming, Cybersecurity Networking, Engineering, Robotics and Mechatronics, Entrepreneurship and Advanced Marketing, Machining, and Welding. So later on in the evening, we will talk a little bit more detailed about what the Oakland Technical Early College Program is and how that can also be beneficial to some students. But at this time, I'm going to reintroduce Mr. Galbinsky.
Thank you, Mr. Maddock. What I'd like to do now is talk about our career tree. Every single one of our programs has one of these career trees that Mr. Maddock has displayed. This one's our engineering, robotics, and mechatronics. I want to spend a moment to talk about the root system. And down there at the bottom, we've talked about it previously. Academics, that you need to have a solid root system. Then we take a look at professional skills. Some people will call those soft skills. Well, we work with students to have collaboration, adaptability, positive personal brand, communication. All of those are very important skills, and our students are actually taught those skills and assessed on those skills. We also then have experiences. We have lots and lots of experiences that are available for our students at the campus. And the one part there also on all of our trees is passion. You have to be passionate about what it is that you're pursuing as a career. And now when we take a look at the career tree, you can see that there's entry-level careers, things that you can do right when you leave the program. So you could be a CAD technician, right? You could be someone in that area. You might be able to move into areas that you're working in, like a fluid power technician. And so everybody wants to know, well, what's the secret to go up to the next level of technical careers? And in all of you that are gamers, you got to unlock what the next level is. How are you going to get to that next level in the gaming or here in a tree? To get to that next level, it just requires some additional education and some additional training. So then you get into your technical careers. You could be an engineering technician, a mechatronics technician. And again, these are just a small sampling of things that you could do as you move up and take a look at additional learning and education opportunities. Finally, how do you get to that last level, if you will? Professional careers, unlock that additional education. And those are listed there with maybe a bachelor's degree. So you could become an electrical engineer, a design engineer, all of those are just samples of what's available. And one of the things we always like to point out to our students, sometimes people will think, well, the one that potentially could make the most dollars would be up there in that professional career. Yep, could be the case, but many times what we find is the technical career area there. That is where a lot of the students are able to really make a difference in terms of what their life wage earning is in terms of wages. So every one of our programs has one of these career trees. You can imagine what those would look like. I wanted to give you a sample of what that is. And when you come to the campus and you're in a specific program, you will be working with these career trees as you're doing some career exploration and figuring out just exactly where you would want to go. So as we get through this, we've laid the foundation. Let's go ahead and get started. Mr. Maddock?
All right, so we're going to go through those 12 programs that I mentioned earlier. We're going to start with Automotive Technology and go through them alphabetically. So in our Automotive Technology department, students are diagnosing, repairing, and maintaining automobiles. Everything from basic through the advanced automotive systems. Students are operating the same diagnostic and repair equipment that we see in our dealerships when we take our automobiles in for service. And students are working alongside master technicians in this rapidly changing industry. Now, one thing that we always like to note out, to make a note to students, only about 40% of the first year is hands-on. There's some book work, there's lecture, there's demonstrations, there's quizzes and tests, because the teacher has to get students ready for certification tests. So students can't expect to come into this class and day one be out in the shop working on cars. They will get out there, but only about 40% of the first year is hands-on. These are some of our recent automotive technology business partners. Students are at these dealerships right now on paid internships. Many times internships start out on an unpaid experience, but in automotive technology, they do move into to paid experiences, and a lot of big dealerships in the area have our students and continue to hire our students while still in high school. These are the certifying agencies that that students work toward. Obviously, the big one is the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence, ASE. It's those ASE certifications that can equate to college credit, but also get those students into the door at one of those dealerships to be able to start their career. So that's our automotive technology department. Down at the other end of our department is our body shop, or the collision repair and refinishing program. So in the collision repair program, after a car's been in a fender bender, a wreck, hit a deer, these students are repairing, restoring, and refinishing vehicles to showroom condition. Again, they're using the same advanced painting, welding, repair equipment that the body shops use, that we take our vehicles when we need body work. And sometimes the more advanced students, they're able to create custom modifications using our artistic design techniques. They'll put flames on their hood, or maybe on their motorcycle gas tank. They'll be able to do some sort of custom modification to their projects. Again, these are some of our recent business partners where our collision repair students either are currently working or have been placed recently. And again, here are the certifications students are working toward. Again, ASE, ICAR, those are the big certifications, both in the automotive and in the collision repair industries. So those are two of our first programs, automotive technology and collision repair and refinishing.
So I'd like to say just a couple things before we move into computer programming. When we talk about these certifications and we talk about attending the campus, a lot of people have questions. So does this cost any money to come? And the answer is it costs $0 to attend the campus. because the campuses provide regional career and technical education throughout the county. All of those certifications that you heard about are industry certifications, and students that sit for those exams, it also costs zero for them to take them. If they were to go take them at a third-party vendor, some of these exams cost hundreds of dollars. So what a great return on investment, parents and students, when you come to the campus, get the skills, and then get ready to sit for those exams. All of those are covered. So we're going to now talk a little bit about computer programming. So when you're in the computer programming class at the campus, you're going to be writing code that's powering modern world, and from game design to mobile applications to intelligent transportation systems. You get a chance to express your creativity and unlock solutions to complex computer problems through using universal language of computers. I know one of the projects they do is the students write code and they do an entire Yahtzee game all written in code. It's pretty cool. I've been involved in some of the challenges that have happened there. And so those are some of the things. And so some of the languages that are available in computer programming, Java, HTML5, and CSS3. So those are some things that would be happening in the computer programming program or class at the school. Again, these are some of the certifications that we have here. MTA, Microsoft certification, CIW certifications. And again, those are at no cost to the students. The instructors rotate the years of which languages are taught. And then these are some ability for you then to either have the HTML and, as you see now, the Java computer certifications that are there as well. Again, builds a resume, credentials that you have on a resume, and it proves that you have the skill and ability to program in those languages. We'll now take a look at construction technology. So construction technology at the Northeast campus, this is where students learn to build and maintain residential and commercial construction projects. They operate power tools, heavy equipment, where they learn how to do demolition and construction. They learn how to read blueprints for rough carpentry, finished carpentry, masonry, electrical, and plumbing. They really have a well-rounded opportunity. Here's a sample of some of the blueprint reading. If you were in this class, you would understand all these dimensions. You would know what all of those symbols mean of how this layout is working. And then students take these blueprints and then they build projects from them. So that gives you an idea of some of the blueprint work that you would be doing in construction technology. Certifications inside of construction. These are OSHA certifications, and these are certifications that students are earning where they have an OSHA 10. It's a 10-hour course, the first step in it. And then we have OSHA 30 in construction that is supported by and approved by the Department of Labor. So if you're walking into a construction site and you already have OSHA 10 or OSHA 30, those people that are hiring know that you understand the safety procedures. Safety is number one in all of our programs, and particularly inside of construction, making sure that you understand the awareness, how to work on a job site, and how to be safe. This is a sample of one of our homes. We want to thank Doc Landry for this. This is one of his photos that he took. This is a 3-bedroom, 1,200, 1,300 square foot house, 2-bath, that we build on campus with our students. You can see it's braced there in front for a semi to back up to that, hook onto it, and this home then is moved into a lot into the city of Pontiac for affordable housing, where a family will move into and have a permanent home and a residence inside of Pontiac. And so this is one of the homes that we built, and the students build it from the ground up. It's a stick home. It's not a modular home. They frame it. And this was the home that was last year's that sits on South Sterling Street there in Pontiac. There is a family that lives in it already. We've got an opportunity to meet them. As I said, 1,200 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage on the lot there, a kitchen appliance in a great neighborhood. So our students build that. You talk about a sense of pride for years and years to come, to drive by that and say, you know what, I put those windows in. You know what, I was on that roof and I shingled it. That's the type of work that our students do with their instructors.
We're going to move on to our cosmetology program next. The Northeast campus is the only campus out of the 4 that has the cosmetology program. So students come to the Northeast campus from all of Oakland County to the cosmetology program. We typically have students from 40, 42, 43 different high schools that are in the cosmetology program. The cosmetology program is a 1,500-hour program. It requires 2 summer school sessions and both junior and senior year attendance. We have a full-service interactive salon on campus when the campuses and schools are open. But our students are learning to use advanced salon techniques, full range of hair, nail, and skincare services. Again, a lot of artistic designs go in to the cosmetology work. They're learning the latest technology trends and brand name products. The cosmetology program, as I mentioned, requires 1,500 hours of instruction. And you can see the breakdown of those hours. About 980 of those hours is regarding hair care. About 115 skincare services, and about 90 hours in nails. The leftover hours focus on sanitation and then some science and business concepts that are covered on the state board exam. Ms. Tomshak's one of our teachers. She's here with us tonight, and she actually just was notified earlier today. 2 of her students that graduated in 2020 recently passed their state board exam. They graduated, headed to Lansing, and passed both portions of their state boards. So they are now licensed cosmetologists, and again, saved $25, $28, close to $30,000, because that's what a private cosmetology school, a private beauty school costs for students that wait till after high school. So for cosmetology, students do get started during the summer after they finish 10th grade. That summer session between 10th and 11th grade, students get started in the cosmetology program. They attend their junior year for a 2.5-hour block every single day. They come back for a second summer school session between 11th and 12th grade. And then their senior year, they're actually at the technical campus daily from 11:20 a.m. to 4:20 p.m. So it's a 5-hour day during their senior year. However, students that have near perfect attendance at the end of their senior year will have completed the requirements needed to go take their state board exam. It consists of both a written portion and a practical portion, and again, become a licensed cosmetologist in the state of Michigan. Once they have their state license, that obviously can lead to immediate employment in a salon. Also, many students are continuing their education. You can see there at the bottom, once a student has a cosmetology license, Schoolcraft College will award 30 credits. Mott Community College awards 22 credits. So there are a lot of options for students to pursue their education. Interestingly, one of the students that we learned about today, she passed her state board exam, but also in her first year of college this fall, ended up with a 3.84 GPA. So she finished her cos instruction last summer, started college this fall. Because of COVID, was late, a little bit slower getting into to do state boards because they are really backed up. But she finished her first semester of college with a 3.84 GPA, and then just finished her state boards. Next, I want to talk about our Culinary Arts and Hospitality program. One of our larger programs. We have 4 professional chefs that students work side by side, creating gourmet cuisine. They're a key part of a team that operates a restaurant. We do have a restaurant that's open at the Northeast campus. And again, students are crafting and presenting a lot of different gourmet creations while they're also preparing for competitions and events. Now, in a typical year, our students in culinary arts, they plan meals, they prepare meals, they serve meals to about 4,000 people over the course of the school year. They have a couple large evening catering events where 500 or 600 people are being served pretty quickly. They have weekly activities, Kiwanis, Lions, some community organizations that meet at our building on a weekly basis. So again, they're very busy in culinary arts and typically serve about 4,000 people during the school year. The certification that they work toward is through the National Restaurant Association. It's ServSafe. There's a variety of certifications that students do work toward. But again, the whole goal is to earn these certifications. They're national, they're industry recognized, where students could leave the state of Michigan with this credential and still enter the restaurant industry. We do have just a few pictures of our kitchen. This is a student on the hot foods line, the stoves, the ovens, the grills, the deep fryers. Here's some of our students back in the bake shop doing cakes, pies, pastries, breads, rolls. Some students here in the pantry doing some fruit and vegetable cuts, learning all those different knife skills. They get a lot of practice with a variety of knives. So students in culinary, you see them all in their uniform. And again, they're looking to join the restaurant or the food service industry.
We now want to take a look at cybersecurity networking program at the Northeast campus, where we're working towards an MTA, a Microsoft Technology Associate Certification in Networking Fundamentals. You have to understand how networks work so that you can protect the networks. Then you look into the security certification, again, through Microsoft or CompTIA, other third-party vendors granting those certifications. And then obviously we move through certification with CompTIA, Cisco. And so you can see there's a ladder here approach of the networking, then we move into security and then into cybersecurity. And that's where the students are able to learn how to keep networks safe, keep those that want to penetrate the networks and do bad things out. These are some of the certifications that are there. Like we mentioned, the networking fundamentals from Microsoft, the CompTIA Security Plus certification, cybersecurity, and then obviously Cisco is a big part of this entire cybersecurity area. A couple of students that started their careers right out of the campus. We do have an entire work-based learning program where students can go out, as Mr. Maddock mentioned earlier, and they can work in a on-job training, which is unpaid, or a field experience, which is paid. And these are two students that worked in paid experiences, and then right after they finished high school, were hired by Oakland schools, and they both came out of the networking program. And so they now are technicians at Oakland schools, and they also then worked with the Oakland Technical Early College program. So again, two of our recent grads finished the program, fully employed, good benefits, good paycheck, still going to school, and they are putting those skills together from networking that they learned in their career while working with Oakland schools. We want to highlight the technical campus here with regard to our engineering, robotics, and mechatronics. In 2019, we were very fortunate. The instructors down there at the bottom, you can see working left to right, Mr. Beyer, Mr. Langdon, Mr. Mangani, and Mr. Wilson. They earned in 2019 the College Career and College Readiness Initiative Excellence in Practice Award. So this was recognized by the Michigan Department of Education. They were the only program that year to be recognized for all of the work that they've done with students in the engineering, robotics, mechatronics, machining, and welding program. So very proud of that. So let's talk a little bit about engineering, robotics, and mechatronics. So in that program, we have an unbelievable lab where we have robots, we have all kinds of CAD lab, we have CNC machines. So they learn mechanical concepts, they learn electrical concepts. They do a training on trainers that Detroit Edison uses, hydraulics, pneumatics. Our students in high school, they have physics credits that's available to second-year students. So you're able to take all the formulas that are on the whiteboards and in your textbook and your notebook, and then put those into practice with the projects that you're working on. You can work toward CAD certification in SolidWorks, both at the associate level and professional level. And as I mentioned earlier, our students work toward robotics certification through FANUC. So you can come out certified with a FANUC certification. These are just some of the companies that have hired our students before high school graduation. Some really big names when you take a look at this: Borg Warner, Siemens, Williams International, located right in Pontiac. They have a lot of the defense contract work that they're working on. Very cool place to work. Rosa, Herotech, Magna, Dur, all of these are places where we have students that have come through and taken the skills they've learned in this program and worked with these companies. And many of these companies have hired them from there. Here's some of the certifications that we talked about. You can get SolidWorks certified. That's CAD certification, FANUC certification, which is the robotics. You learn how to program the robots. And then also you can become get a certification in programmable logic controller. So like your garage door opener, that's all programmed so that you push the button, it knows when to open, you push it again, knows when to close it. Those are Siemens certification that you can get through our engineering, robotics, and mechatronics certifications. I want to switch gears now and talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and advanced marketing. So Mrs. Deals, pictured here, she's worked at the campus here these last 13 years. And this is something that I think is important for all of us, you know, to take a look at that. That bullet down there at the bottom, where before teaching, she held many positions in business, marketing, retail, merchandising, purchasing, and distribution. Every one of our instructors has business and industry experience, meaning they've worked in that field prior to becoming an instructor. So think about all of the people that you're working with. Not only do they have the educational background and able to teach you as a teacher, but they came from business and industry. They have business and industry background. One of Mrs. Deal's students, as we look at post-secondary option, Dakota Passage, he was a student out of Pontiac, ITA. He went off to Harvard. That's where he decided he wanted to pursue some further education. So what a wonderful opportunity for him. So what do you do in entrepreneurship and advanced marketing? So students that are interested in marketing, management, sales, entrepreneurship, this is a course that would benefit you. We would build upon, if you've had previous marketing or business courses at your home school, we would build upon that. If you've never taken a course in entrepreneurship or marketing, you're able to come to the campus as well. You get to take a look at a lot of different things, from small business, from sales to management. You study the basics of marketing. You learn about consumer and industry marketplace. You learn about sales techniques, pricing, how to promote, career opportunities. And they have a lot of different projects that are available that you saw there on the screen. What we really want to focus on is these certifications. Lots and lots of certifications. You as a student, and parents as well, your students have the ability to earn 2 to 3 certifications per year, depending on what's offered. So National Professional Customer Service and Sales Cert you can earn. Business retail, retail industry fundamentals. I know right now our students who've been learning online, they're getting ready to earn and sit for the exam for their entrepreneurship and small business certification. Lots of Microsoft certifications and Google certifications that are available. So really great opportunity to, like we always say, earn those stackable certs on that resume. And then when you go into that job interview, show people that you have those skill sets.
We're going to move on to the Health Sciences program. So this is designed for students that are looking to work in the healthcare field. Students that want to make a difference by providing quality care alongside experts in many healthcare professions, applying healthcare skills in a variety of clinical environments, and again, developing a work ethic to provide compassionate patient care. We want our healthcare professionals to be ethical and compassionate. These are some of the hands-on skills that are taught in the Health Sciences program. There is a lot more book work in the Health Sciences program because, again, it's getting you ready for a college level, a college prep healthcare program. These are some of the dissections that are done: a fetal pig, a veal heart, and a sheep's eye. Students always enjoy those dissection days. And again, here's some pictures of some of the hands-on training that students in the health sciences program experience during the course of the year. Again, a lot of the students are out on through our work-based learning school to career coordinator. This is just a sampling. We've got students at area fire departments for students that are interested in possible EMT, paramedic, first responder type programs. We've got students at nursing homes, hospitals, urgent care centers, and private doctor's offices as well. Possible certifications in health sciences, probably the big one in the upper left-hand corner. Students are able to become a certified nurse aide, a CNA. That does require a state board exam because that license does come through LARA, Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. So that's available for second semester seniors that are looking to, again, get into the workforce as a CNA while they're in college, or again, some are looking to just join the professional workforce. Again, OSHA for healthcare workers, National Personal Trainer Certification, an online pharmacy technician certification, and then again, certification through the American Heart Association. So that program specific for students that are looking to get into the healthcare field. And Mr. Galbinsky is going to wrap up our last two programs.
Thank you, Mr. Maddox. So we're going to now talk about machining. And in machining, we're going to show you some of the pictures here in a minute, but this is where you use advanced equipment and innovation techniques to create tons of cool stuff. And that's a true statement. Mr. Mangani and his students are able to use their imagination and create a lot of different things using machining techniques. You invent, design, build high-tech precision parts and tools used worldwide. Some of those tolerances are so tight, they're as thin as a hair when you look at that, of what they have to do in terms of precision. And they're able to program and operate CNC machines to create products from engineering blueprints and to meet those very specific specifications. This is a student that's working on one of our lathes in the lab. So you kind of get a feel for what they have to do and how that's going to work. Gives you an idea of some of the labs. This is one of our students working on a Bridgeport. Bridgeport there is a lot of different components to it as students are working and learning how to square blocks and drill holes and alignment and work with all of those. This again is a student making an adjustment on one of the lathes. So they have to make sure in order to be precision that they've got the machine set up correctly. And this one is actually a student working on one of the big CNC machines where they've done a whole lot of code. There's a project where one student did, it was like 98,000 lines of code. They coded all that in there. They put the block of steel in, and then that device there, the CNC, programmed it and cut it out to make the parts that were there. So you get a little bit of flavor of what's in machining and what that lab looks like. Welding. Welding is one of our other programs that we have. I like this piece because students you can control fire, electricity, and heat to design, dismantle, fabricate a wide range of products. So there's welding and fabrication that's taught there. There's arc, MIG, TIG, lots of different techniques that they learn how to join, cut, and manipulate metal. Really what they're doing is developing that skill, confidence, work ethic, and stamina necessary for high-paying careers anywhere in the world. Just this past week, as we're going through some of these pictures, one of Mr. Langdon's former students is working with NASA using his welding skills, dealing with the space shuttle. Very, very cool things that they're doing. So here's one of the students working at one of our stations inside of the welding lab, using the variety of techniques, like I said, arc welding, MIG, TIG, that's available. Another highlight of one of our students, this particular student, Noah, went right from some of the training there to begin his career right there at AM General. And obviously credits the work that he was able to gain through work, school to career, and also the skills he was able to gain while being in the program. And he's now a member of their team there and working under the supervision of a master welder as he continues to build his skills. So we just wanted to highlight Noah there. Here's some of our recent welding partners, a lot of different places that people specialize in it, that they are able to use their skills, whether it's working on cars, whether it's working for the magnetics, solar aeronautics, any of those that are available. These are some of our welding partners that students have recently worked with. Also, when you take a look at this, you'll see a lot of this. Students can walk out with their OSHA 10 certification. This is something that works with it, where they have that Department of Labor OSHA 10 card indicating that they are trained and have skills within safety. So we'd like to take a breath and a pause here for a minute. You guys have been great. In the chat, if you'd like to type in any questions, if you want to unmute. Before we move on, we've got some other things we're going to cover here regarding some of our academics and early college. But we wanted to take a break right now to open it up to you to see if you had some questions. So if you want to unmute, if you want to type something in the chat, please feel free now. Mr. Maddock and I will entertain any of the questions, and some of our staff that we have with you here with us tonight, we can answer questions as well. So what questions do you have regarding the programs we covered?
And if not, we'll have more time at the end. If you want to save them till the end, that's fine too. But if you do have anything regarding any of the 12 programs that we just went over, you can ask that now, or again, we'll be available at the end.
So we do have one, Mr. Maddox, in there. Which program offers the paid 13th year? I think we're going to be coming up to some of those.
Yep, that's coming up next. Yep.
Great segue.
Hi, my name's Lori. A question and a statement. My husband's actually an alumni of Pontiac OTech. He was in automotive, and he's making a lot of money as a HVAC specialist now, working for the Pipe Fitters Union. So you guys really set him up for a great career. Now my son is really into culinary, and he's looking at the culinary program. Is that for both 11th and 12th grade? And it sounds like there's extra. There's a lot of talk about how much cosmetology is outside of the normal day, but what does the culinary look like outside of the normal school day?
Good question. Yeah, cosmetology is sort of its unique program just because of the state license that's required. So culinary arts doesn't have any summer requirements, anything like that. That'd be just during the school year. It is designed. Students can complete the minimum requirements in just 1 year. So many times students aren't able to fit in 2 years of the technical campus. However, if students are able to do so, that's when they obviously will get the biggest bang for their buck to do both their junior and senior year.
Okay.
Good question.
Great question. Mr. Maddock, I got another question here on the chat. Are you able to take more than one program at the same time?
Oh, that's always a common question, but unfortunately, no. Students, once they decide to come to the campus, and again, we're going to talk in just a minute a little bit about our schedule. You're actually at the campus for 2.5 hours every single day. It's a 2.5 hour block, and you're in that same program for 2.5 hours. So that's one reason it's important to come to activities like this, to make sure that you're selecting a program that you're truly interested in, that you're thinking about pursuing after high school. Mr. Galbinsky used the word passion earlier this evening, something that you can really get passionate about because you're in that same program for 2.5 hours every day. So it is just one program while you're at the technical campus.
Great. We have a question here about a brief over of the application process. Absolutely. At the end here, Mr. Maddock's going to walk you right through to get you signed up for that. We have a question, Mr. Maddock. What's the best way to get more info on Agriscience Environmental Tech Program?
So Agriscience is one of those programs that that's offered up at our Northwest campus, which is up in Clarkston. And so the best way to get some information on that would probably be to reach out to the Northwest campus. Their number I know is 248-922-5800. that will ring in at their main office. And again, you'd be able to ask for the counselor or somebody that could provide you some information on that program. Again, 248-922-5800.
And that also will be available on our website, OSTC-online.com. There's some videos on the Agriscience program. You'll be able to get some more information on the website going under our programs that are there. We had a question about, and I think you mentioned it, are all programs 2-year programs? Definitely Cosmetology is a 2-year program. Automotive Technology is a 2-year program. Students can attend both their junior and senior year. Some students are only able to come maybe just their junior. Some are maybe only come their senior year. Health sciences, yes, you could start in 11th grade or 12th. Obviously, to get, as Mr. Maddox said, the most bang for your buck, being there for 2 years, get you a deep dive into it. And health science does not require anything in the summer. A typical day was asked. We're going to cover that, what it would look like starting in engineering or any of our programs in 11th grade. Health science certifications, there's CNA certs that are available that are there. There is the Farm Tech certification that's available. So there are a few other ones that are available. Did I miss some of those there, Mr. Maddox? What other certs?
I'm going to say, obviously, the most common one is the CNA, Certified Nurse Aide, is the most popular. But yeah, there are a couple students this year doing the personal trainer certification. One of our teachers is his background is sports medicine and physical training. Our other teacher is still a practicing registered nurse. But then the pharmacy technician certification is an online certification partnership with CVS.
Thank you, Mr. Maddox. And another question on health sciences. Do these certifications, do they qualify for college credit? And again, we're going to get to what the schedule looks like. Can you talk a little bit about the midterms?
Yeah, so the certifications in health sciences, they don't equate to college credit like some of our other programs. They are obviously industry recognized, but the college credit that's tied to health sciences is a medical terminology class. But again, a certified nurse's aide license is not going to equate to any nursing type college programs. It gets students a launch as far as their career, gets them building a resume, but does not equate to college credit as far as that.
Thanks, Mr. Maddox. I want to give a shout out there to Miss Mallory. Thanks for putting in the Northwest phone number for our person that's interested in Agriscience. That's in the chat, and OSTConline.com is also in the chat. So I think, Mr. Maddox, we're ready to continue.
One thing, Mr. Galbinsky.
Yes.
Like for the person who is interested in Agriscience, which is not offered at Pontiac, but it is offered in Clarkston at the Northwest campus. The other program that Northwest offers that we don't is the visual imaging program. So if you're interested in visual imaging, which is an art program, then you would also want to use that number and get a hold of the Northwest campus to find out about that program.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate that. That's why we got you here tonight. Help us out. Thank you.
Just want to talk a little bit about credits. Students that come to the technical campus, they do earn a letter grade, A, B, C, D, or E, just like any classes back at your high school. The grade that the student earns is placed on the student's transcript and does count toward their graduation from respective high school. Now, since students attend the campus for a 2.5-hour block, whatever grade they get at the technical campus, that goes back to their high school equivalent to 3-letter grades because they're actually at the campus for half their school day. So a student that earns an A at the technical campus, 3 A's actually will show up on the student's transcript. However, on the flip side of that, if a student does poorly at OTech, then 3 of that poor grade is also going to show up on the transcript. But but the grade that is earned is reflected on the student's transcript. You see there are some specific academic credits that are embedded in some of our programs. Health Sciences does have a human anatomy and physiology course embedded right in it. It is a college prep anatomy and physiology course. Cosmetology, there's actually quite a bit of science on the state board exam. So they earn a science credit called functional biochemistry. Machining, students get a technical physics credit. Again, it's more of an applied, hands-on physics credit. First year students in engineering, robotics, and mechatronics also get that technical physics, but then students that come back a second year in engineering, robotics, and mechatronics are able to take the actual physics class that is aligned with the Michigan physics content standards. All of our programs at the technical campus fulfill Michigan's requirement for their senior math. Students still need to have Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. Those are state requirements. But then that senior year, that fourth year of math offers some flexibility, and all of our programs do fulfill that fourth math-related requirement. And there are some other academic credits that can be earned or fulfilled, and your students would work with your high school counselor on some of those. But there were some questions about the early college program. And again, Dr. Landry is actually one of our two staff members that works with our early college students. So you can feel free to chime in if I am getting things wrong. But again, I want to point out these are the 8 programs that are part of the Oakland Technical Early College Program: Auto Tech, Collision Repair, Computer Programming and Cybersecurity, Engineering, Robotics, Mechatronics, Machining, Welding, and Entrepreneurship and Advanced Marketing. As I said earlier, this is something above and beyond just the regular technical campus. Students can come to the technical campus, not be part of the early college program. They would come, they'd get their credit, it would show up on their high school transcript, and they'd graduate. Students in the early college program, they actually start taking classes at Oakland Community College during their junior year. So what would the Oakland Technical Early College Program look like? Well, students are going to apply for that spring of their 10th grade year, sort of the same time they're planning to come to the technical campus, and as they're picking their 11th grade classes back at their high school. So students take classes at their high school just like they normally would. They enroll at the Northeast campus in one of those 8 programs, just like they normally would. But then students in the early college program, they start taking a college class. Typically, it's just one class during their the 11th grade, and typically it's taught in the evening. So again, they have to meet the admission requirements of Oakland Community College. They need to take all their placement tests that are required for Oakland Community College. And again, they'll work with the high school counselor and with Mr. Moran, who's our early college coordinator. And then Dr. Landry or Mrs. Lang will work with all of our early college students on a regular basis. Students moving on to 12th grade, they'll still attend the technical campus just like they normally would for the second year of their program. Now, during 12th grade, students may or may not be taking any classes at their high school. They may be fulfilling a remaining requirement actually at Oakland Community College. So instead of taking 12th grade English, they may be taking English at OCC. Or instead of taking government or economics at the high school, they may be taking that at OCC. So again, they might be taking now 2 or 3 classes each semester at OCC. And again, those classes would be counting toward their degree. What makes it an early college program? There's a 13th year that's required as part of an early college program. So during that 13th year, students are not attending their high school at all. They're not attending the Northeast campus at all. Instead, they're now attending Oakland Community College on a full-time basis. And again, the ultimate goal is to complete the requirements at the end of that 13th year toward that associate degree. By getting started in 11th grade, by taking a few more classes in 12th grade, and by attending full-time during that 13th year, the ultimate goal is to complete the requirements for an associate degree. And again, the nice thing, no money out of your pocket. Tuition is covered, textbooks are covered, any fees that are incurred, those are covered. And again, Dr. Landry, Mrs. Lang, those are two of our staff members that will be working with the technical early college students along the way, supporting them, helping them, advising them to make sure that they're having a good experience. Dr. Landry, anything that you want to add regarding technical early college?
Yeah, I think pointing out that 13th year, for students who are in the program, they do not graduate at the end of the 12th grade. So they are still high school students, and they won't graduate from high school until the end of that 13th year. So usually the high school keeps one class that they need, like say government is usually the one that most people need. So the student will not take government, so they can't graduate high school, and then they'll take that at the end of the 13th year. Because they don't graduate, it allows the high schools to still pay for their tuition in the early technical college program. That's why there's a 13th year. They're still actually high school students all the way up until the very end. And the only other thing I can say is I'll put a little rainy cloud on it a little bit. It does sound like it's great and it's like a total win-win kind of thing, but having done this for several years, we find that a lot of times students come in and they're not necessarily ready for it. They don't have the discipline to do high school and OTech and something on the other, further on. They don't necessarily work well without the support that they get like in their high school. And a lot of times they just don't have the passion for those careers. They think it's going to be great, but then they don't really have the passion for it. So it's something if a student wants to do it, they really have to think hard about it, because you don't want to get into it and they take that first class at OCC or the next one in the second semester and they fail out because they're just not disciplined or mature enough for it. So you really want to think hard, assess your skills, see if it's right for you, think about it before you do it, because you don't want to waste a lot of time or have a bad experience that might sort of derail the progress that you're making in your life. So just keep that in mind. We do have a lot of success. Like one of the slides earlier was with Charles, who has a job as a network person for Oakland schools. He went through the program, had no problems, perfectly fine. And but he had the right frame of mind coming in, and he had enough discipline. Still kind of a joker sometimes, still had to make sure he was doing what he had to do, but he still had the discipline to do it. And that's really what you need.
And one thing, even though a student won't have their diploma till the end of that 13th grade, the high schools still do allow students to participate in all the senior activities. So they still allow your student to walk across the stage with their class. They just don't get their diploma at the end of that, but they can still participate in senior prom. They still participate in all the senior activities because they've been classmates together since kindergarten. And so all the schools do allow students to participate in all the senior activities. They're just not going to get that little slip of paper inside that booklet until the end of that next year, when at the same time, hopefully, they're getting a college degree at the same time. Want to talk just a little bit about who comes to the campus. And again, we've already mentioned the districts that come to the campus. The Northeast campus is primarily students from Avondale, Lake Orion, Oxford, Pontiac, Rochester, and then we do have some homeschooled students, private school students, and some charter schools that come to the campus. Mr. Galbinsky, I know there were some questions about who comes and what a typical day looks like.
Absolutely. So I'll take a look and cover some of these. So who attends? 11th and 12th grade students that are on track to meet their graduation requirements. That's critical because when you look at this, there's a lot of time invested. You have to be on track to graduate. You have an updated EDP, right? From Zello. That's important. What is your vision? What are you looking for? What's your light at the end of the tunnel? What's the career and lifestyle you're looking for? And we have students we want to make sure that attend here that are motivated, dedicated, have career goals, and are ready to start working toward them, much like what Doc Landry talked. You got to have that focus and that drive. So when do students attend? I know this was a question. So if our AM session runs from 7:45 to 10:15, so you'd come to the tech campus first thing in the morning, then you would either drive back to your high school or you would jump on the bus and go back, and then you would have your afternoon classes. You'd have lunch and afternoon classes at your home high school. If you're a PM session student, that means you would go to your high school first, take your classes there, have lunch, drive over to the campus or get on the bus to the campus, and then be in our session from 11:20 to 1:50. Now, we put on here, your district may or may not provide this bus transportation to the Northeast campus. That we put on there for our cosmetology people that are here because we service all 28 school districts in the county. If you're at Lake Orion, Oxford, Rochester, Avondale, or Pontiac, buses are provided for you to come to the campus. And so that is the times that we would attend and the sessions that we have available for the campus. What we're really looking for is the right student and the right program for the right reason. Students that's motivated, dedicated, sees the light at the end of the tunnel, and they want to get there. So how are you the right student? Attend daily, show up on time, you work hard, follow directions. There's a lot going on here. Work independently and as a member of a team. And the one nice thing about being at the campus in one of these programs, you are with a group of like-minded students, whether it's health sciences, they're interested in that, whether it's collision repair, whether it's construction, those are the students that you're working with, but these are the attributes that we have for successful students. So I'm going to turn this back over now to take us home here is Mr. Maddock.
All right. So yeah, so now I think finalizing those couple questions that we haven't addressed is regarding the application process. And obviously you're on your computers right now because we're all on Zoom. You're able to go to our website, www.OSTC-online.com. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see a box that says apply for 21-22 school year. So again, you'll see that box at the bottom of the screen. You'll click on that. The next screen opens up. You'll see a big blue box that says apply now, and that will take you through step by step the online application. It probably takes about 5 minutes to complete. It's nothing overly difficult. It's going to ask for your name, your address, your phone number, your birth date, what high school you attend, what program that you're most interested in. It's going to ask for a parent name and contact information. And all the way at the bottom, the most important thing is making sure that you click submit at the end of the application. As soon as you click submit, a copy of your application will go to your high school counselor, informing them that you're interested. It's not committing you to anything. It's not guaranteeing that you're even going to get a spot. It's just informing the counselor at your high school that you're interested so they can start working with you, with your student on what next year's schedule would look like. A copy also comes to the technical campus to me, so I also know of your interest. And again, it doesn't commit you to anything, and it doesn't guarantee that there'll be a spot for you. Throughout the winter and the spring then, I will be working with all of the area high school counselors, getting students enrolled, but this is definitely the first step that needs to be completed. And again, it's simply informing the counselor at your high school of an interest in attending one of our programs. So again, OSTC-online.com. You scroll down to where you'll see apply for 21-22 school year. There's that big blue box that opens up, apply now. And again, 3, 4, 5 minutes later, you'll be done and you'll get an acknowledgement that your application was submitted. So the application process, just like the screen says, quick and easy.
Mr. Maddock, can you talk a little bit about, like, right now, well, this is available. We got a wide range of students and parents that are with us tonight. Who should be clicking on this right now and moving forward as they prepare to get a seat for the 21-22 school year?
Yeah, so students, I mean, the application window has actually been open since October, because again, a lot of students that have joined activities like this earlier, 8th, 9th grade, they always know that the application opens up in the fall. So I actually have it opened up on one of my other computers here. We've got 482 students that have already applied. So it is important to get your application completed as soon as possible because time is ticking, and we're going to start enrolling students for next year over here the next few weeks. I'll use welding as an example. Okay, our welding lab, we're able to enroll 20 students in the morning and 20 students in the afternoon. Okay. So only 40 total students are going to get into welding. Well, about half of those are students that are currently in welding that plan to continue their senior year. So out of Rochester, Avondale, Lake Orion, Oxford, Pontiac, only about 20 students are able to get into welding. But then, since welding is not offered at the Northwest campus, we have students applying from Clarkston, Brandon, Holly, Waterford. So again, it's very important to get your application submitted. It is important to think about a second choice. If welding fills up, would machining be a good second choice for you? Or maybe construction. So again, those are the types of things that we look for in your application, and those are the things that your high school counselor will work with you on.
So currently, if you're a 10th grader and you're in 10th grade right now, now would be the time to apply so that then you have an opportunity to attend your junior and senior year. If you're joining us and you're currently right now a junior, you can still apply. You would then be attending for your senior year. So the campus accepts and sets it up that juniors and seniors are attending the campus.
We are going to have another one of these information nights in a few weeks, February 4th. That will be the very last time that anybody can get any information. But again, if you have a friend, a neighbor, a cousin, a relative that might be interested in one of these programs, Mr. Galbinsky and I will be back on February the 4th doing something similar. But again, we now want to just open it up and answer any questions that haven't been addressed yet. And you can either unmute yourself and ask or type it into the chat.
We have several chat questions already. One of which is, if they go to Troy, they go to the Southeast campus?
So the only Troy students that would come to Northeast would be for cosmetology. All other programs, yes, Troy students would attend the Southeast campus in Royal Oak.
And there's a couple early technical college questions. One of them was about how do the OCC classes show up on the student's transcript? And it would if they are if they're taking English 1510 at OCC and whatever school is counting that as their 12th grade English, then that grade would follow over. But if they're taking Intro to Machine Tool, if they're taking Blueprint Reading, if they're taking something like that, it wouldn't show up on their high school transcript.
So, so I'll start from here. How does having an IEP work with the school? We actually have one of our colleagues, Michelle Quarton, works with all of our area schools and has actually been attending IEPs throughout the year. So we do get a copy of a student's IEP and the accommodations that have been successful in the past. However, some of our CTE courses are different than a traditional high school class. So Michelle Quarton is oftentimes invited to an IEP about this time of year as IEPs are being held. And so again, it would be working with your caseload teacher at your respective high school, who will then work with Michelle Quarton on getting the accommodations and the IEP to make sure the student's successful at the technical campus. You do find out about being accepted at the technical campus early spring. We usually start sending out our welcome letters end of February, beginning of March. That is usually about the time we start sending out welcome letters. So that would be about the time then, end of February throughout March, that you would find, you'd get a welcome letter from us. And again, we start then greeting some of our new students in the spring to start welcoming you to the Northeast campus.
We have one, Mr. Maddock. How can early college affect getting into university?
So, I mean, there's a couple different pathways of degrees that students can take through the early college program. There are pathways that build in general ed requirements. It's called the Michigan Transfer Agreement. So there are some of those pathways that do lend themselves to going into the four-year universities with some transferable credits. There are some of the associate degrees that are more technical in nature and geared toward getting the student employment at the end of that associate degree. So, so again, that would be something that Ben Morin, as the early college coordinator, you'd work with him as you were scheduling your college classes. And then again, Dr. Landry and Mrs. Lang would be available to support those students. But there are a couple different pathways with the early college regarding the types of classes that are taken.
Thank you. Because my son is definitely interested in going to a university. He's hoping for something like U of M engineering or something. So
Okay.
he definitely, we want any information that we can on making sure that whatever we can get transferred.
Yeah.
does
So
help.
so in the springtime, and again, what will transpire after you've applied to the technical campus? Remember, early college is something separate. So you'll be notified that you've been accepted into the technical campus. Following that will be the application process then for the early college program. So again, some students aren't interested in early college, so they'll come to the technical campus as just part of their high school schedule. But in the spring, usually March, April, May, there'll be the application process for the Oakland Technical Early College Program. The placement testing at Oakland Community College will take place. And again, you'll start working with Mr. Morin, who's our early college coordinator. So you'll be able to decide if the early college program is something you want to pursue or if not.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Great, Mr. Matt, thank you for that question. Mr. Maddock, we have a question. What if you take a class, end up not liking it, or think it's not for you? What can you do? Can you stop in the middle of the year?
So yeah, so a lot of this is, I mean, we obviously realize students are only 16 years old, maybe not even yet, and they're making some pretty big decisions. So a lot of times, yeah, students will think that they know what they want to do. They get into a program and realize that it's not what they thought it was going to be. So if it is something in the middle of the year, those students typically would go back to their high school, schedule some classes during second semester, and then they could reapply for a different program the following fall if they're still a senior in high school. Or a lot of times students will finish out the year, realize it wasn't for them, and then they might go into a different program their senior year. So we do have some students that might have 1 year of one program, realize that they don't want to pursue that any longer, and they might go into a different program their senior year. We always view that as just as positive as a student does find their niche. It's just as important to find out something that you're not interested in while you're still in high school, rather than go off and pay a year of college for a program and then decide that it's not for you.
Thank you, Mr. Maddock. If you could just maybe touch on the programs over at Wixom. Again, all of our programs are listed on OSTConline.com. They're listed by campus. They have those that are there. They have almost all the programs that we talked about. They don't have cosmetology, and they do not have construction technology, but they do have heavy, medium truck and equipment that is at that particular campus. And so, again, all of the programs are listed and then they're broken down by campus. So hopefully that gives you a little flavor of what's happening. Did I miss anything at Wixom there, Mr. Maddock?
Nope, just the heavy and medium truck.
Okay. So just a point of clarification, someone had asked, we apply, our students counselor does get notified. That is true, that they're in there. And the question was, will they, meaning the homeschool counselor, be contacting them, or do we still have to contact our students counselor? Just following up on what the next steps are.
You know, I always say it's not going to hurt, even after tonight, as all the counselors are still working remotely, to email your students counselor, and you can let them know how excited you were to attend the OTech virtual career night tonight, or the information night, how excited you are to be able to join the program, because again, then that will allow them to go into their portal and see that the application has been submitted, whereas I'm going to guess they're not going into their portal on a daily basis. So again, an email from you as the student, or email from you as a parent, letting the counselor know that you're interested in coming to the campus, which program, because again, that's going to start some dialogue between the counselor and your student.
Yes, there's a question here. What campus has cosmetology? The Pontiac campus, the Northeast campus, is the only one that has cosmetology. So all 28 school districts come to the Northeast campus for cosmetology. Like we mentioned before, you know, if you're in Royal Oak and you're awarded a seat, you would need to be able to provide transportation to and from the campus to attend the cosmetology program. Someone asked about the meeting being recorded. Is it going to be emailed? Or this will be posted on our website. I strongly encourage all of you to go to the website, go to the Northeast campus, and then click on the application area. All of our previous virtual career nights are there. And if you're interested, look, I want to have a whole thing on just cosmetology, they're listed. Or I want to learn exactly, and I want to hear from the teacher in welding. I want to see what he said, how it works, what's there. All of those programs are there. This is a very high level overview with a lot of detail information night of the campus. But if you go back to it, all of our virtual career nights have those specific, and Mr. Maddock is wonderful. He set it up that if you want to, hey, I only want to hear the computer programming teacher, you click on the night for that, go 10 minutes in, you can watch 10 minutes and listen to that programming teacher and then maybe go to another one. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible for you to search and find that information. This will also be posted on the website once it gets transcripted and set up and open captioned for the site, but that's what would be there. So again, I'd encourage all of you, if you've got a piqued interest in one or two of those programs, go to our website, look at the videos, because you're going to hear from those exact teachers when they gave their presentation and level of the program there.
Mr. Galbinsky, not to interrupt, but I'm going to do a shout out right now to Dorian. Dorian's completed the application just while we've been on. Engineering, robotics, and mechatronics. Let's welcome Dorian.
All right, Dorian. Yeah. All right. That's fantastic. Like that.
See, it goes quick.
Fantastic. So that's the questions that are in the chat box. If you have any other questions, you can unmute. Oh, we've got another question here.
Yeah. So if you go to West Bloomfield High School, correct, you would attend the Southwest campus, the one in Wixom. The West Bloomfield School District sends a bus daily to the Wixom campus. So I do know sometimes there's some confusion about where you live, but it's based on the school that you attend, because oftentimes the bell schedule and when classes are scheduled. So if you do go to West Bloomfield High School, you would attend the Southwest campus in Wixom.
I had a question about the health sciences.
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know if you saw it, but I wrote in the chat, is the medical terminology class like a college credit class, or is it just like just a part of like OTech?
Yeah, so the medical terminology class is actually a college level medical terminology class. The teacher actually uses the exact same book that she used when she went through nursing school. So what they do for medical terminology, every single Friday is medical terminology test day. So the very first week of school, they're going to start with A's, and they're going to drill you, and you're going to practice, and you'll have flashcards, and you'll get through the first week where all of the medical terminologies are A's. Then the next week, they're going to add the B's. However, the following test on Friday, it's now going to be A's and B's. And it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing through the whole school year. We always know our health science students because they've got this huge metal ring with all these flashcards on it. They've got prefixes, suffixes, abbreviations. But again, they cover, it's actually a college level medical terminology class that you can get college credit for at the end of the year.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Maddock, for clarifying that. We want to thank all the parents and the students, and I want to thank our staff for being with us here tonight, sharing some time with us. We appreciate the time that you've invested to learn more about it, what's available at the campus. So if you do have further questions, the staff's going to stay here. We're going to hang on for a little while on Zoom. If you have gotten the information or if you need more information, please feel free to reach out to us. We appreciate you taking the time to spend this evening with us. We hope that you continue to stay safe, stay healthy, and appreciate you joining us this evening. So we'll hang around here for a little bit. If you've got some questions, we'll be available. But otherwise, have a great evening. We look forward to seeing you on campus. If there's any way that we can help you out along the process, please feel free to let us know. Everybody have a great upcoming weekend. Thank you.